Welcome to Day Sports, place where long-haired Yahoo can have a yarn about sports. Now, before we jump into everything as well, make sure you like, subscribe, give all the socials a follow as well. Links to everything is going to be in the bio. Really appreciate all the support. Just cracked 400 subscribers on YouTube, so that's amazing. I'm really looking to go for 500 before season's over. I know that's going to be a steep task, but it all starts with you guys. If you can like, even comment who your predictions are going to be this week, it makes a massive difference. Jump over to TikTok as well. Just crossed 2,500, so things are flying over there. And Instagram, that's the real struggle street. That's about 200 subscribers. So if you guys are on Instagram, make sure you suss out the link. Go give me a follow on there as well if you'd like to see more content. So getting straight into everything, we've got my player of the week, and I posted a video on Monday, but it is Kayln Ponga. In a losing third, he was an absolute standout. He was a shining light in that game. He had 2 try assists, 2 line breaks, 8 tackle breaks, and 207 run meters as well. So I'll get a little bit more into that particular game. I guess a bit of a review, a little bit of a rundown on the situation with Kayln as well, but he was outstanding. He was breaking ankles, putting shots on. Yeah, he was an absolute weapon. Now, before we get into everything as well, I have picked up a little prop for the podcast. So if you're watching it on YouTube, I've got myself a little Adam Reynolds bobblehead. I'm sure if you've been to Coles, I don't know where else, but they've got these. They've like in that kind of like dribbly NRL section. I think it was like $13. I saw it and I was just like, I've got to have this. So if you're watching, I'll post it, but this is going to be the good luck charm, or at least one of them for the Broncos next year, as I slowly start to just collect random shit. I'm just going to have it on this table and ideally have a better setup at some stage as well, but I will make sacrifices to the bobblehead Adam Reynolds for his health and well-being next year. That's what we're working with. He's got the tattoos and everything. Bit of a crook head on him, but fucking let's go. So there's the Renault. Happy days. So, quick little recap of last week. So, went 3-4-4. The only game that we let down on was the Doggies. So, they fell short. Heartbreak for Doggies fans, but we'll get to that. So, up first, Penrith. They went out and pumped the Roosters 30-10. I did miss this one live. Well, I kind of had like one eye on, preoccupied doing other stuff, so one eye on the game though, but managed to go back, re-watch it, and yeah, look, Panthers are going to get a 4-peat. I don't see another team beating them at this stage. They just showed against the Roosters that there are levels to finals footy, and they've been doing it year in, year out for the last 4 years. They are so experienced in the finals arena. Nathan as well has not only had 1 but 2 services leading up until his final, so he's going to be, well, he's not really going to be 100%, but history has shown when Nathan has gone down injured and come back in, they win finals footy, and they're going to be hitting form right at the right time as well, and good luck to whoever comes up against them. They are going to be bloody so hard to stop, but they just went out there and did their thing, and obviously it is a weakened Roosters side as well. They are missing quite a few key players, but at the end of the day, they've still got a quality team, and yeah, Penrith just turned it up a whole nother level. They just went that hard from the beginning, got out into the lead and just never gave it back. Roosters have been known to leak points over the last few weeks, so that's kind of what ended up happening. Yeah, they were just way better across the park, and I think it was always going to be a really tough task for Roosters as well, considering their record against Penrith and particularly Storm. And I think that's the tricky thing for them. I think if they win their next game, they're up against Melbourne, so yeah, bit of a rough one. But we got that one right. Next one, Storm. They demolished the Sharks 37-10. What a show. A lot of people are saying it's pretty much a 2-horse race, and it is starting to really look that way between Penrith and Storm. Sharks, I said it, they're going to go out in straight sets, and Melbourne, they are hitting form as well. So Munster, he started off absolutely elite. He was taking control and getting the lion's share of the ball from the get-go, particularly in the first half. I'm not too sure. One of the commentators, I think, said that he might have looked a little bit ginger in the second half, and Hughes started to take over a little bit, but in the first half, it was all the Mad Dog. His try, you could see coming a mile away. You just know if he's in that position, he's going to dummy at some stage and go. They just need to tackle him. That was an easy one for him. He threw the biggest show and go of all time, and went straight in over the line. But yeah, he's really warming into the finals. He's had, I don't even know how many games, the majority of the season off anyway. Played those couple games played that game they went up to North Queensland. Just getting that match time And if that's how he's going to be playing, he's going to be so scary to come up against because he is that big game player. Have fun with Munster. One thing that I found really impressive for the Sharks, though, was Carol Ero and Talakai. They were so damaging in their runs. Both of them in the centres, just pumping out numbers, running over the top of people. I think Talakai sent someone to the Shadow Realm as well, absolutely dropped somebody. I'm trying to think who it was. Was it Blore? Might have been Blore. Put him on his ass. But yeah, both of them have been outstanding. I guess Ramian's been injured, so that's why Talakai was, filling in. I guess defensively, sure, might have his dramas, but in attack, he was just a weapon. And Harry Grant, he just stepped it up to another level. I think he's had a pretty off-season for his standards anyway. I think he particularly for Queensland definitely wasn't up to the scratch that he had been previously. I wasn't keeping as much of an eye on him throughout the regular season. Storm's definitely not my favourite team of all time, but Patrick Harry Grant, he went out there. He was just in the right place at the right time, tackled his ass off. He was a part of everything. 3 tries, can't complain. He was great. Cowboys versus Knights. So we tipped the Cows on this one, so they got it done 28-16 over the Knights. It was a proper tug of war, this one. It was some really exciting footy. I actually probably enjoyed these last 2 games more than I did the first 2. One, they were kind of, in a way, kind of shutouts in the first 2 as well, but when it comes to that, make or break knockout footy, it just adds a whole nother level of excitement for it. There's so much more on the line compared to the top of the ladder where they've got the opportunity to play another week if they lose. Ponga, again, like I said before, put on an absolute show. He was breaking ankles left, right and centre. It was so much fun to watch, but it was a really exciting game. Knights, they could have put it away as well. They were so close. Ponga busting through the line. I think he had somebody on the inside and then he had Gagai and I think Fletcher Sharp to his outside. And he did exactly what he needed to do. I think Drew and Scotty Drink offload, probably not the greatest pass of all time, but Gagai put it down. He completely dropped the beans. They went everywhere. It was an absolute shit show. And then after that, I think, was it Tommy Dearden and Cotter scored after that? Well, Cotter scored with some absolute desperation to get it done. And Tommy Dearden put the nail in the coffin with a couple minutes to go. Pretty rough one if you're the Knights fans, that's for sure. But yeah, it was just an exciting game. Now, will Kayln Ponga leave the Knights? I know he's getting massive coin at Newcastle, but I don't see them winning a premiership over the next couple seasons. And if that's something that he's looking to add to his resume, he might be looking to jump ship. Yeah, if you're looking at the teams that could potentially afford him and have room for him, the Roosters definitely step forward as probably a number 1 candidate there. And they have all the coin in the world. So would not be out of the question for Ponga to be having a little chat with Uncle Nick, a little barbecue at his place, just to see what they might be able to fit into the salary cap. Bit of brown paper bags and pubs under Kayln Ponga's name sort of stuff coming up. But to be honest, Kayln gives me a little bit more of I want a cafe or a coffee bean outfit or something like that. So maybe Mark Boris might be able to get something with his business associates up and running. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Kayln. It's definitely going to be a talk. It is very much. And to be fair, the Newcastle guys did put it together over the last few weeks, but it was very much, a one-man army in a way. If without Kayln, I just don't see them being in the same position. So, do I think he's really going to leave? Probably not. He's contracted for a long time and he's getting paid a ridiculous amount of money. Obviously, he's got his teammates, friends, family, whatever else going on there. But if premiership is what he wants, he might have to look elsewhere. Doggies versus Manly. Manly, they got it done in an absolute nail-biter, 24-22. It was just such a good game. Doggies, though, to be a Doggies fan, I would be shattered. I watched it with one of my mates who's a massive, massive Doggies fan, and just the heartbreak at the end of that game when things just slipped between their fingers. It just got away from him. And I know that feeling, being a Broncos fan. I'm still living with the trauma from the grand final last year, but yeah, it was a great game. I found that the referee just let it flow. It was such a fast-paced game, and I think, when you think about it, maybe that was a detriment to the Doggies, but they came out absolutely firing, guns blazing from the start. They never looked like they were going to take a backward step and lose that. Their forwards were all over it. Their line speed was insane. They were smashing people there was set restart after set restart from kicks, and they were just smashing people. Stephen Crichton, he had a hell of a game. That little tap-on play that he did, I think it was for Kiraz to score, was just insane. Billy Kickow, he was fucking out there all day trying to smash people. I would have hated to have been either the fullback or one of the wingers. You got Burton's bombs going up, so you got to deal with that. And then you hear the footsteps come in, and most of the time, especially down, I guess, Kickow's left-hand side of the field, it was him coming for you, and he was looking to smash you as hard as he could, drag you back. Oh, that's some scary stuff. So kick-ons, he was absolutely firing. I think he even had that charge down, which didn't quite get the bounce. But if he'd got that, he would have been in for 2. He was just elite. But yeah, I guess they had it up until about the last 10 minutes. It just came apart. They managed to get it through to Kohler, and he did the rest. It was kind of a bit, I wouldn't say an easy trials. Definitely, he put in some insane work, but I don't think he should have got that as easy as he did. But yeah, either way, it knocked out the doggies. But they've got a lot to hold their heads high about. Had an unreal season. Nobody would have ever expected them to make it as far as they did, and it's just going to build on, moving forward into the next couple seasons. So, yeah, amazing stuff from them. In other NRL chat and news, Ben Hunt, he needs to be let free. Dragons need to free Ben Hunt. They seem to have thrown him under the bus a little bit at this end of season. Terrible end of season, losing those couple games, not making the 8, not making finals. I think it's something like they've made finals once while he's been at the club. I can imagine they're paying him quite a lot of money as well, but I think he's had a pretty good season. I'd say it's been a massive reason why they, for a long period of time, went as well as they did, as well as other players. You've got your Jaden Sewers, obviously Zach Lomax, but I think as well he would have brought those players to a whole other level with his experience. Game 1 in Origin, he absolutely killed. Probably didn't do as much in the last few, but yeah, apparently the review with Flano went bad. It sounds like they don't want him anymore and aren't willing to give him that extra year I think he's looking for after the end of his contract next year, so nothing's been confirmed. But look, in an ideal world where there's no salary cap or nothing like that, he'd be coming home to the Broncos for that redemption, to win a final and sail off into the sunset. I remember, I think it was last year? It might have been the year before, but there was that talk that there was a possibility of him being sent out on loan, but he would be amazing to have him in there as hooker. He could, have him as hooker. Blake Moser come off the bench, back up for Renault. That would just be elite. Don't think it's ever going to happen, unfortunately, but I'd love to see him come home. But yeah, it sounds like he does want to finish up in Queensland. From what I've heard, he's got properties either northern New South Wales or somewhere. So Gold Coast Titans, especially with foreign, I think finishing up next year could definitely be leads to pick up a little Ben Hunt action for him to kick his feet up on the sand and retire. But yeah, we'll see where Hunt lands. But does not sound like things are going well at Dragons. Another thing I wanted to have a chat about, James Graham, he bought $10,000 out of his own pocket for tickets for Doggies fans to go on Sunday. That's pretty amazing. So I think it's something like 230 odd tickets he got to give away to fans. And he was looking to particularly give away tickets to the fans that are super passionate Doggies fans and might not have had the money or it might have been a little bit hard for them to get the tickets. So that's an absolute legendary thing for him to do, to get behind the team and the fans who are having such an amazing season. I'm sure it honestly would have made some people's year, almost being able to go to that finals. While they didn't come away with the W as well, that's still, it would have been impressive, and it's a great show from him, particularly to do it out of his own pocket as well, just to show the support. So massive props to him. This is the third time that I've had to record from here onwards. So first time my phone ran out of room. Second time the microphone wasn't in sync. So if this one's not in sync, you're only getting half a video or you're getting it late at this point. But onwards and upwards. So Cowboys, they are walking all the way to Sydney. They're doing the 1,900 plus kilometre journey. So they're on their bikes on their way, which is an absolute doozy for them. They somehow ended up stranded in North Queensland after missing their chance to book any of the flights. I guess maybe they booked Bali before they booked Sydney. Not sure if they were going to make through the finals, but yeah, all the direct flights have been booked. The NRL, so I've seen some news articles coming out saying the NRL is looking at dropping $100,000 to charter them direct flights to Sydney to get to these games, which is just insane. That I can't imagine that their regular flights would have cost that much, but shows how much that the NRL and Peter V'landys are keen to see the Sharks go out in straight sets. They're throwing money at the Cowboys, being like, please come down here and play. They don't have the best record in Sydney. They were probably trying to do everything they could to play back up there in North Queensland, but I guess the Cowboys are going to be on their way one way or another, and it could be by bike, bus, boat, or plane. We don't know, but yeah, they should be there. The Kiwis, New Jersey, it is maximum sex appeal as well. They revealed that the other day, and everyone is frothing the design with a mean-looking photo of James Fisher-Harris wearing it as well. Takes inspiration from their 2002 kit as well. I think it's going to be selling out super quick. I would love for the Australian jersey to do something like that, a bit of a throwback, one of those retro ones with the collar, maybe the PlayStation. Obviously, they can't have the same sponsors, but take an inspiration from something like that. That would be incredible, because I'm going to the international game against Tonga that they're playing in, I think October or something like that at Suncorp. And I was looking at the jerseys, and they're nothing in comparison to that New Zealand kit at this stage. They just are boring, a little bit bland. We could definitely do a lot better than that. And I really like the design when a heritage jersey, Anzac, whatever it might be, something a little bit different. Particular heritage ones, especially this year, we've seen some incredible ones. The Broncos, Bulldogs, the Warriors, anything like that. Chuck a collar on it, give it a bit of throwback, right marketing behind it. It's going to be awesome. Another thing I just wanted to quickly touch on as well was UFC 306, UFC Noches at the Sphere in Las Vegas. For anyone that watched that, it was visually amazing seeing what they managed to do with that type of setup. I think they spent something like $20 million getting that sorted as well. But the visuals that they put together, in particular the little mini docos between each fight, the different chapters that they did, and the fight backdrops that they had between each fight, it kind of changed, and it was just incredible. They had those, like little mini docos about the heritage of the Mexican fighters, their culture, their warriors, whatever else, and it was just spectacular. It was so well put together, and I could really see that being the future of sports, or the way that things are going to be moving. For NRL, that would be a lot harder, much larger stadiums, but could you imagine going to a Suncorp stadium and they have these like massive screens around each side? The halftime performances, or whatever they want pre-show, would just go to another level. Sponsors, everything would just be way cooler. It'd make for a better watching experience on TV as well, because I wasn't quite sure how it was going to translate for those sitting at home, but it was incredible. I can't imagine what it would have been like to be there. It would have just been insane. So I'd love to see something like that in the future. I don't see that happening in Australia, at least for the NRL anytime soon, but with us going to America once a year, particularly Vegas, you never know what those stadiums are going to look like in, say, the next, 5-10 years. It could be heading that way, and that would just be some next level shit that we need to look at over the next couple of years, because that would be awesome. And while I was putting this together as well, Josh Schuster, he has signed 1 year with the Bunnies. Old Wayne is giving the unwanted Shuey a little bit of love and attention down there at the Rabbits. Are we going to see a new mythical player in Uncle Wayne's Shuey? Is he going to go to another level? It's going to be tough. No one else really wanted him. And I guess it's said many times with Wayne Bennett as well, if there's anyone that's going to be able to get the best out of him and the best out of a player, it's going to be him. So I think only time is going to be able to tell. Next year will show, I guess, where his career is going to land. Wayne could turn it around. He could have an absolute amazing performance, or he might be getting his tickets to the Super League. We'll see for Josh Schuster. Now that gets through to the second week of the finals. These are my tips and predictions for the Sharks, Cowboys, Roosters, Manly game. So up first, we've got Sharks, Cowboys. I'm going to go, like I said last week, for the Sharks get knocked out in straight sets. I'm going to go Cows 1-12. You've got the battle of the inconsistent teams here. Both of them have been all over the place this season. You don't know what you're going to get week in, week out. I think legally I need to back a Queensland team at this point. I think they got the representative players to do it. I think they got the dog in them to get it when you got players like Ruben Cotter cruising around, your Tommy Dearden, guys like that. I think there's massive pressure on the Sharks at the moment, in particular Nicho Hynes, who is going to be the bit of a scapegoat if things don't go well at this point. He needs to be at his absolute best, and he has not showed historically that he has been able to turn up in these big game moments. The pressure would just be building and building. The responsibility for him to perform well is going to be insane. So I think that's going to be weighing on that team heavily. They got absolutely pumped last week as well. Hopefully that's a bit of a motivator for the Sharks, but yeah, once again, depends what team shows up. I feel like if both of them still show up, I still think the Cows have the stock to get it done. They have always been that team on paper that should be doing a lot better than they probably even are at this stage. I'd be scared to run anywhere near Jason Taumalolo at this stage after he put Leo Thompson flat on his ass last week. But their strike out the back is amazing. They got great leaders in Cotter and Dearden as well. Dearden, again, built for these games. I think he's going to be having an outstanding performance. Their record down in Sydney is a little bit sus and could be a little bit, goes against them. But I think they're going to be able to get it done. I am haunted by Kyle Felt. He might be the safest try-scoring hands in the comp at this point. I'm damaged from what he did to us a few years ago, still dealing with that trauma, but I'm going to go with him anytime. Now, next game, we got the Roosters versus Manly. These two, they've had some all-time close clashes throughout the season. I think it was, Manly beat them in the first game. Roosters just got it done in the second, nearly had a massive comeback from Manly there. I really want to back Manly this one, but I'm going to go with the Roosters 1-12. I think they've got a little bit more to play for at this stage. Manly, they might have played their finals last week. The finals are so much more fun with Manly in them, but I think it's going to be a tough task. Roosters, though, they're going to make sure they don't fall asleep. They have time and time again throughout the season got off to a good start, got a good lead, and just fallen asleep, leaked points, and nearly got done in a few of these games. And that's what happened the last time that they played. They got a few players, I guess lots of players still out. They got Jared Weir-Hargraves coming back in, massive leader. They're going to be putting a lot on the line for him in his last season before he heads off. He's probably just going to fold somebody and then get sent off anyway, but I'd love to see him out there just smashing people. These instant knockout games just go to another level. They're so much fun to watch, and these guys are really going to go at it, I think, as well. Victor Radley, he's back in as well. He might be the hardest bloke going around. I think he's got a broken shoulder or something at this stage. How he's even out there, I have no idea. I can't imagine it's too much fun to play for. And I'm pretty sure Tommy Trbojevic could legally be classified as a zombie at this stage. His body's pretty much fallen apart. He's got needles coming out of him left, right, and centre. I think it might have been Scope talking about it the other day about the shoulder, that apparently after it's needled, it's only good for about 10-15 minutes before it's kind of cactus again. So I can't imagine the pain that he's playing through, and I was surprised they managed to get it done with him not at 100% last week. I can't imagine he's going to be any better this week as well. So, he's a massive presence out there. He obviously was a part of that, that last effort to get Kohler over towards the end as well. So he's not like he's useless out there. He's still going to be a massive factor. But yeah, I think it's going to be tough for them. I think the Roosters are going to be well and truly up for it. But the only problem for them is, cool, you get the win. Next week, you got to play Storm, who, again, have a terrible record against the Storm. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough one. Like I said, want to go with Manly, but I do think the Roosters are going to get it done. Anytime try scorer, I'm going to back my wounded Tommy Trbojevic to get over as well. It's going to be unsuspecting. People aren't going to suspect it. He's just going to pop up out of nowhere at the right place, right time. Bang, 4 points. Thanks for coming. That gets through to my tip of the week. So I'm going to go with a try scorer from each team in each of these games. So up first, we got Sharks versus Cowboys. I'm going to go with Nico Hines. His wet hair is going to be flying over the line. He's going to cross for a 4-pointer. He's got all the pressure in the world on him, but I think he's going to get it done. Cowboys, you've got to go with the safest guy in the comp for try scores. Kyle Felt, he is going to cross the line at any time, get those 4 points. Roosters, Teddy, he's going to say, boys, get on my back. We're going over for 4 points. He's going to cross any time. And then Manly, like I was saying, I'm going to go again with Tommy Trbojevic. I think I'm going to back him every single week until he literally can't play anymore, because Tommy Turbo, he knows how to score tries. I have no idea what that's paying. I'll get it to pop up somewhere. If you follow the Instagram, I'll post that tomorrow as well. You'll be able to see the bet slip and the odds on there. Now, that brings me to the end of this one. Make sure you like and subscribe, like I was saying. Comment in the, let us know who you think is going to be winning in your predictions, and I'll catch you next week. Have a good one.